also today. And today we're gonna be doing another master class, and this master class is for especially for grade 4th and 5th. We did our first master class for grade 6 and 7, and today is for 4th and 5th, and tomorrow we will be again having a master class for 8th and 9th. All right. So again, all of you, welcome. So before we get started with the master. Class, let me take you to a journey regarding how you can access NAC content. So those who are new, those who don't know, that we actually have created content for your challenge that is coming up. And this content is actually available on CKC, which you can get from credits that are there. All right, so I'll just give you a quick overview of the platform of the CKC from where you can get your NAC content, and then we will move forward. All right, so I'll just quickly share my screen. Okay, I hope you can see my screen. So on the top bar of this is our CKC platform. On the top bar of our CKC platform, we have an icon or a button that says NAC. So you just have to go there, and once you click there, you will have your content books available. So each book is from some credit. So you just if you have credits, you can easily buy the books. If you don't have credits, I'll tell you how you can get credits and buy the book. Now, basically the why I'm so concentrated on the books is because most of your questions will be actually be asked from the content that we have created. So this is a special content that actually include each and every component that is required for your understanding of astronomy. All right. So if because we are doing a class of 4th and 5th, so I'll just give you a quick review or a quick view of our 4th class book, how it is. And when I talk about these books don't only have content, they actually have interesting videos, they actually have interesting comics, links to comics, even games that can help you understand in depth about different types of topics. All right, so I'm just showing you the book. Just give me a minute. All right, so this is how the book opens up, just like a real book. So we have the indexes. There are approximately 13 chapters in grade 4. And as you go ahead, you have basics of astronomy, a little bit about solar system, planets, galaxies, and all these things. All right. And similarly, if I go to class 5th, we have the same thing. Okay. So I'll just quickly show you class 5th also. Just a second. So this is class 4th. And this is our class 5th. Okay, so class 5th also have specific chapters with respect to this grade. And see, these books are see when you go to Google, when you search, you get so many information. So all the information, all the concise information is present in this book that can help you a lot in your exam. As I said, 70% of your questions will be asked directly from these books. Okay, so similarly for class 5th also, we have these books, and in class 5th we have approximately 11 chapters like astronomy, the moon, also about Earth, solar system, constellation, galaxies, missions, and all these. Okay, so these are the basics of astronomy that should be known by each and every one of you. Okay, so this was all about the books. Let me now give you an overview of how you can get credits if you don't have any. All right. I'll just quickly go to the dashboard actually. Okay, so in the dashboard on the top where there is a bucket which have coins in it, you can actually click on that bucket and then go. If you want to just buy some extra credits, you can buy extra credits from here, or you can actually upgrade your plan. For example, if you have a Nebula plan or a Protostar plan, you can upgrade it to Supernova. There you will get approximately 315 credits that can, that can help you buy everything that is there on, not everything, but yeah, most of the things you can easily buy. So otherwise you can also go for Protostar, that is around 240 credits, and free is 15. So anyways, you'll have to buy some credits if you don't have already to get the books. All right, so this was all about the NSC books, and now what I will do is I'll give you a brief about your upcoming exam. So as I said last time also, your exam dates are final. So what are the dates? You can note this down. Your grade 7, 8, 9 exam will be happening on 18th January 2025, which is a Saturday. And grade 4, 5, 6, that is you guys, will be having your exam on 25th of January 2025. That is Saturday again. All right. Now, if I talk about the time, guys will have a time slot of from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. IST, that is the Indian Standard Time. And the number of questions each paper will have, or for 4th and 5th, will be 60 questions. And how much time will you get to solve these 60 questions? You will get 1 hour, that is 60 minutes. So in the window of 10 to 5 p.m., you can give any 1 hour of your time to give your NAC exam. Okay, so total marks again will be 60. So 60 questions, 60 minutes, 60 marks. So each one question, whichever correct option you give, the correct answer will give 1 marks, minus 0.25 will be deducted from any incorrect answer. So you have to be very careful while marking your answer. So that is why your books can help you a lot when you are studying about NEC. Okay, what are the types of question? Application based, content based, current affairs, astronomy terms, numericals, all these will be your types of questions. As I said, 70% will be from the book. And if you have any assistance, if you require, please note down this email ID, that is hello@nationalastronomy.org. I will share this mail also in the chat. Okay, so you can quickly take a look. Now, without wasting any time, let's go ahead with our masterclass today. But one warning I want to give, guys, you have to make sure about the chat. I do not want any spamming on the chat. Please write your question at once. That's it. You don't have to continuously just keep on writing things in the chat. Not needed. Once you have written, we will register and we will give all the answers at the end. Or as per the time permits, accordingly, we will take some best questions and we will give the answers. So please, please don't spam the chat. All right. So with that, let's get started with our masterclass today for 4th and 5th. So Garvit sir, over to you. Let's get started.
All right. Well, thank you, ma'am, so much for all these informations. It will be very helpful. Okay, so as ma'am said, that please no spamming in the chat. Be very careful about it. Okay, and let's start our master. Is the screen shared? Is the screen
Yes,
visible?
yes, it's visible.
All right. Okay, so let's start with our master class that will be very useful for your upcoming exams. You can always access the books that is on the website, but let's get a brief of what's going to happen. Okay, so the National Astronomy Challenge master class. So let's get started. So for the National Astronomy Challenge, first let's discuss that what do we mean by astronomy. So can someone write in the chat what is the exact definition of astronomy? Like what do we mean by this word? Right. So whoever knows the answer, you can write in the chat book, but be aware of this thing that only once, okay, don't spam it like again and again. Okay, so definition of astronomy. Astronomy is the study of celestial bodies and the universe. Everything that is in the universe, all the planets, stars, galaxies, everything we study under astronomy. Okay, so let's see what are some of the main topics that we are going to discuss. Like the sun, earth, moon, space technology, space missions, solar system, night sky, and obviously some numericals. Okay, so let's start with the very important celestial object. The most important celestial object that we have is the sun. Okay, so let's discuss some of the points that we have about the sun. So the sun is huge, right? We all know that the sun is a huge star. How huge it is? It has a diameter of 1.4 million kilometers, and the distance from Earth is 150 million kilometers. When it comes to sun, everything is in millions. And it is so far away that even light, the fastest thing in the universe, takes 8 minutes to reach from the sun to us. 150 million kilometers, for very far away. And it is so huge that all the things in the solar system, everything combined, all the planets, asteroids, comets, everything combined, the sun alone contains 99% of all the materials, or the 99% of the total mass of the solar system. And it is made up of hydrogen, mainly two gases, which are hydrogen and helium. But how does sun produce this much energy? Okay, it is made up of hydrogen, helium, it is so big. But how does it produce that much energy for the solar system? So the energy is produced by a process called as nuclear fusion. What is nuclear fusion? Nuclear fusion is when two elements combine together and make up a new element altogether. So like example, our sun is mostly made up of hydrogen. So when two hydrogen atoms combine together, they make up helium atom. And in this process, a lot of energy is released. And imagine all the hydrogen atoms combined together and forming all the helium, a lot of energy is released. Okay. So this is how sun produces its energy. Now let's talk about our moon. So everyone knows moon, it goes around the earth. Right? So this motion is called as revolution. But along with revolution, moon also rotates on its axis. That the rotation. And this rotation and revolution together happens in just 27 days. They are exactly equal. More precisely, it happens in 27.3 days. But the rotation and revolution of moon happens at the equal times. And this is called as tidal locking. So every time whenever the moon is revolving around the earth and it is rotating along with it, you can always see just one side of the moon, which is visible right now also on the screen. You will always see just this one side. This is called as the near side of the moon, and the other side, that is called as the far side of the moon. This happens because of the tidal locking, which is because the revolution and rotation periods are the same. Right? Let's see some of the features of the moon also. So moon, obviously, we know it is one of the satellite, or not one of the, it is the only satellite that Earth has, and it has four main features to it. What do we mean by features? For example, it has craters on it, like this particular crater. So does someone knows the name of this particular crater? And how was this crater formed? This was formed because all not this just all the craters were formed because of asteroid impacts on the moon. So because moon doesn't has an atmosphere, there were lots and lots of asteroid impacts on the surface of the moon, because of which a lot of craters were formed on the surface of the moon. And this particular crater that we are showing, this is called as the Tycho crater, and it is such a huge crater that it is even visible from Earth. Okay. The second feature of the moon is the mares. What's a mare? Mares are these dark patches on the surface of the moon. So these are also called as seas. Why we call them as seas? Because earlier astronomers used to believe that when they saw the moon, they used to believe that these are seas, or they are made up of water bodies. But now obviously we know that these are not water bodies. These were made up of because of ancient volcanic eruptions on the surface of the moon. So as volcanoes erupted, they cooled down and formed these dark patches on the surface of the moon. And these also form a rabbit pattern, like a curled up rabbit pattern on the surface of the moon. And these mares are important also because two of the very famous mares, which are the Sea of Tranquility. So now everyone knows why it is called as the Sea of Tranquility. The Sea of Tranquility is famous because Apollo 11, the most famous moon mission ever held, was landed on this particular mare. Also, there is Sea of Serenity, where Apollo 17 landed. Right. Then after mares, we have another feature called as regolith. What's a regolith? Regolith is just the soil of the moon. The whole soil, the moon is covered with soil. That soil is called as regolith, and it is a very fine soil, like talcum powder fine, not like the soil of Earth. Right? And the last feature of moon is are the terrain. Terrain are the highlands of the moon or the mountains on the moon. So these mountains are also found because of the ancient asteroid impacts only. And as the asteroid impacted, it created a huge debris of material, and they collected together and formed these terraces or mountains on the moon. So these are the four features that are on the moon that from which we can identify the moon. Okay, now let's talk about our beloved Earth. So Earth, as we all know, we all live on Earth, and it is the only planet to have life on it, only known planet we can say to have life on it in the whole universe. It revolves around the sun in 365 days, which is just 1 year, and it rotates also at an angle of 23.5 degrees. So you all can write these terms or these numbers in your notebook also, that it rotates on a tilted axis, which is tilted at an angle of 23.5 degrees. Why this 23.5 is important? Because this 23.5 degree angle is the reason, or one of the reasons, why we have seasons on Earth. So as the Earth is tilted, one of the hemispheres of Earth is pointed more towards the sun than the other. So the part that receives more light from the sun, that part experiences summer season, and the part that receives lesser sunlight, that experiences winter season. And the summer winter seasons all happens because of the tilt of the Earth. So as the Earth revolves around the sun, this still remains at the same angle 23.5, and it points in the same direction all in the whole revolution. And at different locations there is different uh, position of Earth, because of which it experiences different amount of sunlight, because of which we have different seasons, winter season, summer season, autumn, spring season, all the different seasons. So after Earth, let's talk about our whole solar system. We talked about the sun, we talked about the moon, we talked about the Earth also. What about the whole solar system? So let's talk about some history of solar system. Today we know that all the planets revolve around the sun, that makes up the solar system, but that was not the case for before, because before people used to believe that the Earth is the center of the solar system and all the planets, including the sun, revolved around Earth. This model was called as the geocentric model. Why geocentric? Because geo means Earth and centric means the Earth is at the center. So Earth was at the center of the universe, and the sun, moon, planets, and all the stars were orbiting the Earth. But and this model was proposed by Claudius in 2nd century BCE. But obviously, today we know that that is not the case. Today, we know that the sun is at the center of the solar system, and all the planets and everything, asteroids, comets, everything are revolving around the sun. This model is called as the heliocentric model, where the sun is at the center and the universe with the Earth and other planets are orbiting it. This model was proposed by Copernicus in 1543 in his book called as The Revolution of Heavenly Bodies. And it got accepted. And obviously, today we know that this is the truth. Now, let's see some points about our solar system. So, everyone knows that solar system has 8 planets. It has 5 dwarf planets, 293 moons, and the distances in solar system is measured in AU, which is called as the astronomical unit, where 1 AU is 150 million kilometers. Everyone remembers what was 150 million kilometers? It is the average distance between the Earth and Sun. So because everything in the solar system is so far away that measuring it in kilometers would be very difficult thing to do. That's why we developed a new measurement unit, AU. Okay. And everyone knows what are all the planets in the solar system? We have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, then we have Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. So these are all the 8 planets in the solar system. The first 4 planets are called as the terrestrial planets or the rocky planets. So these are the planets which have a solid rocky surface on them. And these are also the planets which have very less number of moons. The other 4 planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, are called as the Jovian planets or the gaseous planets because they are totally made up of just gases. There is no solid surface where you can land on. So if you go to any of these 4 planets and you try to land upon, there is nothing to land upon. There is no solid surface on these 4 planets. And these are the planets with rings with them. All the 4 planets have rings. Obviously, Saturn has the most recognizable ring, but all the 4 planets have rings with them. And they have a lot more moons than compared to the terrestrial planets. And these terrestrial planets and Jovian planets are divided by a belt called as the asteroid belt. So majorly all the asteroids that are found in the solar system, they are found in this asteroid belt. Okay. But is that the end of the solar system? Is that everything in the solar system? Well, no. After Neptune also, we have another belt called as the Kuiper belt, which is 20 AU wides. Not just 1 or 2, it's 20 AU wides. This is a belt of comets. So mostly all the comets that we see in the night sky or that are in the solar system that are present in the Kuiper belt. But is this Kuiper belt the end of it, the solar system? No. Even after Kuiper belt, we have the Oort cloud. This Oort cloud is almost 100,000 AU distance apart. And it is so far apart that after this, other stars are more closer to this point than the sun. That is why this Oort cloud is called as the last point of the solar system. Okay. So after this Oort cloud, let's discuss something about our night sky. Night sky, everyone knows, when we look up in the night sky, we can see many different stars, planets, moon. We see all these things in the night sky. But if we start connecting these stars together, what do we form? We form constellations, all these constellations that you can see on the screen also. But what are these constellations? Are they just connected dots? We can just connect any dot together, we form a constellation? Well, somewhat yes and somewhat no. So a group of stars forming a recognizable pattern is called as a constellation. For example, this Ursa Minor or the Hercules. These are connected patterns which form a recognizable pattern. And how many constellations are there? Can we just connect any 2 or 3 dots together and form that this is a recognizable pattern? Well, no. There is a international body called as the International Astronomical Union, which decides how many constellations will be there. And according to International Astronomical Union or IAU, there are a total of 88 recognizable constellations, among which there are 37 constellations in the northern hemisphere and 51 constellations in the southern hemisphere. But what is the use of all these constellations? Why are we just playing connect the dots in the sky? It wasn't that a childish game that we used to play? Why are we doing this in the night sky? There is a very important reason for these constellations. Among many reasons, one of the main reason is that using these constellations, we can find out the directions in the night sky. So these constellations, using these constellations, for example, we can find out the pole star or the Polaris. Because of Polaris, someone knows why do we need to know the position of Polaris? You can comment, you can tell us in the chat box. Polaris is the star which can tell us about the north direction. And as soon as we know the north direction, we will get to know all the other directions also. So using these constellations, one of the very important and reason why we use constellation is to find out the directions in the sky, right? But don't be fooled by these constellations, because these constellations are forming a recognizable pattern only from our viewpoint. If we just change the perspective of ours, these constellations, all these patterns will stop making any sense, because these stars are light years away from each other. And from our viewpoint, they may form some recognizable patterns. But in reality, you think in form of 3D. The stars are very far away from each other, light years far away from each other. But talking about light years, what is a light year? When we say light year, so light year is the distance light travels in 1 year. So light, the fastest thing in the whole universe, the distance it will travel in 1 year, that is called as 1 light year. So this, many students get confused in this, that is light year a unit of time, because it says year in it, right? It should be a unit of time, but it tells us the distance between objects or galaxies or stars, and it is the distance light will travel in 1 year. Okay, for example, the Andromeda galaxy, which is the closest galaxy to our Milky Way, the closest galaxy is still 2.5 million light year away. So if you are looking through a telescope and watching the Andromeda galaxy, you are seeing a light that is 2.5 million light years old, right? It is so far away. So, but is the Andromeda galaxy the only galaxy? No, there are billions of galaxies in the universe. And these billions of galaxies are categorized mainly into three categories, which are elliptical, spiral, and irregular. What is an elliptical galaxy? So elliptical galaxy looks something like this, where a bright, you can say, star-like object, but it's not a star, it's a collection of stars. But the center part is bright and it fades out as we go further away. It forms an elliptical pattern. Or the spiral galaxy like this M101 or our Milky Way also, which clearly forms a spiral pattern. If we look at the galaxy, we'll clearly see a spiral pattern. These type of galaxy are called a spiral galaxy. And irregular galaxy are galaxy which doesn't have any particular shape, neither circular, spiral, elliptical, nothing. No particular shape, so they are called as irregular galaxies. And we have categories of all these galaxies. So I guess many more students have also joined since then. So let's discuss a few points about the NAC again. So as we have seen, as ma'am already discussed, that you can go to our website called as Cosmic Kids Club, where you will find this NAC tab, from where you can access the books which are very important for your upcoming exams. So all the questions that will be asked in the exams, almost 70% of those questions will be asked from these books. So you can always go to our NAC website and get these books by buying the credits. Okay, if anyone has any doubts, if anyone has joined newly, or they don't know confirmly that how they can buy these books, how they can study from the NAC website, you can always tell us in the chat box and we'll help you from there. Okay, so let's move further and discuss about some space technologies. So what are these space technologies?